All right. Well, after some trouble, we're able to try something new. Got this little tablet, not very expensive little tablet, little 7.5-inch tablet, and we're going live on it. We're going live on Spreaker. We're going live with the Facebook thing. I mean, with the Fight Back thing. So we got a chat room open. We are good. We are good to go. I'm on the road. You can probably tell. I'm not in the Space Rock production vehicle, mobile studios, obviously, because you can hear me. Because I'm in my wife's car, and all the windows closed, and it's fairly quiet inside the car. So this should be a pretty good recording. This should be a pretty good show. But you're welcome to participate in the conversation in the chat room. And I do these shows on the road while I'm driving. Not because I get, and don't worry that I get distracted because I'm talking. Because I'll tell you what, let me give you a little secret. Somebody asked me once, you know what, how do you do an hour by yourself? How do you do these shows without, with a bunch of notes? It must take you a while to prepare. And I tell them, no, not really. No, it doesn't take me a lot of time to prepare normally. And I'll tell you my little secret. I do a lot of shows, frankly. I do a lot of this thinking out loud while I'm driving. And if you were to drive up next to me in some road in Tampa and see me, I'm probably talking. I am a saxophone player, a musician by trade and by education, and I am a firm believer that whatever you practice, whatever you're practicing, that's what you will get good at. And even now, as I'm doing this, people are pulling up next to me, and it's dark. It's 8:03 here on the East Coast, and the West Coast of Florida, and they're probably wondering what I'm doing now. It's a lot easier now because there are so many speaker phones in cars and the like that somebody could always be just talking on the phone. So you don't get as many weird looks. I don't get as many weird looks as I used to, but I do a lot of this preparation, a lot of this thought in the car anyway. So it isn't like I'm distracted by it. It really isn't. And it isn't like I have to do a whole bunch when I'm on Spreaker. I'm not really, especially doing the mobile Spreaker, because I'm not going to run any commercials. If I do any spots for our affiliate partners, I'll do live reads, which means I'll just tell you about them. Like my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay, if you're looking for a home, if your wish, your Christmas wish, if your grown-up Christmas wish is a new home, especially in the Tampa Bay area, what you need to do is go to the website, newhomestpa.com. That's newhomestpa.com, and scroll down and fill out the information and get in contact with Gary, because they're going to give you the straight dope on what getting a new home's all about. If you're ready, if you can, and why, and if you can, why you should. They're going to make sure that you stay safe in the process, that you know about the process all the way through. And he's a great person and a great partner. So that's newhomestpa.com. Newhomestpa.com. All right, listen. I was gonna do a show on Blog Talk Radio today. However, I had some technical difficulties. Surprise, surprise, on Blog Talk Radio. But they weren't their fault. It was really my fault. So I ended up replaying a show that I had done before. But strangely enough, it was appropriate. We have heard a lot about Russian hacking. The Russian hacking of the 2016 presidential election that helped Donald Trump win the election. Well, if I have not heard a bigger load of crap in my life, If anybody actually is of the mind and believes, hey, Paul, and my friend Paul Swanson from the frozen tundra of Wisconsin is in the chat room. And if anybody actually believes that Russian hacking was the reason why Donald Trump won the 2016 presidential election, you are an idiot. You are an idiot. That's all that there is to it. I wish I could be nicer to you, but I can't, because you need to know where you are. You're an idiot. You are so dipped in the sauce of mainstream media, you can't see your way out. And that's sad. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you, because the only Russian hacking that went on was the release of the emails through WikiLeaks that we got control of, that we were able to see, that we got access to. And the biggest problem for the Clinton campaign and the left was that the things in the emails were true. That's the biggest problem. Now, it isn't. Have you noticed that even through all of this process, they've not denied one single thing? They were all true. Now, they are all up in arms of how WikiLeaks and Julian Assange got a hold of them, but they've not countered one single thing. They're all true. And that's why they lost. That's why they lost. So this whole idea to sort of put in the minds of the American people that Donald Trump is... Now, here's the deal. If you listen to mainstream media, Donald Trump is not only connected to the Ku Klux Klan, but he's also buddy-buddy with the communist murderers in Russia. They're all in one big cabal. Are you serious? Oh, and he's only a reality talk show host. That's all he's ever done. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the political hacks that are talking about hacking. They want you to believe somehow that what you saw in November is not what you saw. What we saw was a repudiation of the left's narrative and the left's policies. And you know what? And here's the part that they don't get, is that they never really expected it. They never really expected it. The left is so easy about overstepping. They're so easy about using the same tools that they have always used. Always used. Racism, sexism, the name-calling, the homophobia, the Islamophobia, and all of these names and labels, and they had worked so well to divide and conquer. They're still in shock that this playbook that they have gone by so many years and so many times and so many places doesn't work. Now, if I may, and I'm going to anyway, I'm going to use a sports analogy. Sorry, ladies. You know what, Paul? I looked at, Blog Talk Radio now shows you, takes a sampling and it tries to figure out what your demographics are, as opposed to male and female. And right now we're about 75% dudes. It's a sausage fest up in here. And this is probably why, 'cause I'm going to use another football analogy. In 1985, the Chicago Bears and Bum Phillips, I forget the name of the defensive coach, instituted something called an 86 defense. A 46 defense. The 46 defense, and that defense was the biggest, baddest defense all year, all the way to the Super Bowl. Took the 85 Bears to the Super Bowl. That 46 defense. Well, it was interesting, the next year, a lot of people had the 46 defense figured out, and they weren't not nearly as effective. The same thing happened here in Tampa Bay with what now people call the Tampa 2, used to be called the Cover 2 defense. That was built especially for those players. And it was very effective for a number of years, but eventually offenses around the league figured it out. So it's not nearly as effective as before. So here's the deal. This playbook that the Democrats have been going by for the past 50 years, eventually America, because of, and I'm going to take partial credit, and Paul Swanson should take partial credit, and Sonny Johnson should take partial credit, and Alfonso Rachel should take partial credit, and C.L. Bryant, K. Carl Smith, Ken McClinton, Steven Crowder, Milo Yiannopoulos. And because of social media, we've been able to get into people's psyche, into their imagination, in a way that we had never been able to before, because we didn't have to worry about the gatekeepers in the major newspapers, even in the major websites, the major television networks. We could go directly, like we're doing right now. We could talk to people directly, like we're doing right now, as I'm on my way into Brandon, Florida, to get one of those Yeti cups for my wife. Well, it's not for her, it's for a gift so she can give to her telesupervisor, but same thing. That's my job, so I'm on the road here. So that's the deal, though. So we can all of us on the political right that are involved in this whole social media thing have been able to get to places in Pennsylvania where we never were able to get to before, and Ohio, and Wisconsin, and Florida, and even more so in places like California. My friend Shirley Huzar and her sons are doing great work there in California. Star Parker in California. So we're starting to get to places that we've never been able to get to because there are no gatekeepers. So this message that they've been pushing, left have been pushing through mainstream media, you know what, doesn't really have the impact anymore because we're able to counter it. We're able to counter it immediately and vehemently. So they are blown away. Thanks, Paul. It was Bum Phillips with the 46 defense. Good. So people are starting to figure that crap out. People are starting to see that their programs have been failed programs, and they got to quote the mountaintop in 2008 and were able to elect a black president. And you thought that was going to end the whole America is racist narrative, but all it did was crank up the America is racist narrative. And people started to figure out, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make any damn sense. How in the hell can America be racist and America elected a black president? As a matter of fact, America elected a half-breed president, a biracial president. How can America be racist? Well, you know what? A lot of us out here are telling people, oh, by the way, you're not racist. You're not racist. And people who call you racist without any evidence of that are assholes. And we've been able to destroy and crush the narrative that America is a racist nation. Although the Van Jones of the world are still out there talking about white lash because he's a one-trick pony. That's all he's got. And if it wasn't for CNN, he'd have even less than that. And now that President Barack Obama will be leaving office here in a few days, he won't have that access either. So a lot of these people are going to go back into the holes that they came out of and will not be able to have the influence of the position. So this narrative that mainstream media has been pushing for 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years is going to fade into the woodwork at least a little. Van Jones, MTV, yeah, exactly. So they are kind of freaked out. They are kind of freaked out, but that's okay. They're going to be. Let them be freaked out. In the meantime, let us get to work. Let us get to work making sure that we continue to crush, kill and destroy the liberal and the left progressive and dangerous destructive narrative. That is all it does is bring death, destruction, and poverty to the inner city and America at large at every turn. So, of course, and I mean, let me get back. So the whole idea of Russian hacking is one more thing, one more piece of spaghetti to throw up on the wall to hope that the American public buys into it so they don't really ever fully accept what's happened. And what's happened is that we have rejected, yes, and it's not a white lash, it's an Obama lash. We've rejected the policies of the left encapsulated in Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. America has rejected that and is now going on another path. Now is Donald Trump the perfect vessel? No, but not by any stretch of the imagination. But the benefit, the good news is that the American people are indeed the right vessel. The American people are the right vessel to carry the message of freedom and liberty so the entire world can see. Whether Donald Trump is a perfect vessel or not is almost immaterial. Almost immaterial. Because the American people now believe again that they can do the right thing. So the hacks in mainstream media, the Anderson Coopers of the world, the Rachel Maddows of the world, are fighting, taking the step back that they know is coming under a Trump administration. Now, I mentioned this today or yesterday on the Blog Talk Radio show that I don't think that Donald Trump is going to be another Reagan. I think he's going to be more like another Nixon, especially when it comes to the press. One of the things that I learned recently that the White House press office was moved to the other side of the White House under the Nixon administration because basically he didn't trust them. He hated them. And that's understandable. That is understandable. And they don't like it. They're upset. Captain Cupcake and the Snowflake Warriors are wondering if they indeed will have any position or power in the new administration and the new dynamic. And the truth of the matter is that they're not going to. That their power and their influence is going to go down. Because America has learned that we don't have to listen to them anymore. And we don't have to listen to the media that continues to push and promulgate that message anymore. Things have changed. Things have changed. Things are different. And a lot of people on the left don't like it. So they're thrown up against the wall, and they're going. See, and the thing is, and they're going to probably for a good amount of time to come. They're going to throw a lot of stuff up on the wall to see what sticks. Russian hacking is one of them. Forgetting the dynamic that if indeed there was any Russian hacking, it happened on Barack Obama's watch when he was supposed to be protecting the nation and protecting our system from just that sort of activity. Somewhere else where he failed. Somewhere else where John Kerry and anybody in the Barack Obama administration who was supposed to be in charge of protecting the country failed again. See, I think it's hysterical. I think it's hysterical. Because these would, if there was indeed any hacking, these would all be failures. They would all be failures of the Obama administration. They would all be failures of the administration. Fortunately for them, there wasn't any hacking. Anything that that you found that was hacked, you found out about. They were contained in the WikiLeaks emails. You already know about. And even, let's see here. I'm going to stop driving for a second. I found a parking space. Look at me. I am so good. I am so incredibly talented. Yeah, and John Kerry didn't even get invited to the recent Syrian negotiations. Well, because John Kerry is an idiot. Is that fair to say? Is it fair to say that John Kerry is an idiot? Yes, I think that's fair to say. And completely ineffectual. I was multitasking. I was driving. I was talking. I was looking for a parking space in the mall at Christmas time. Are you kidding me? And I found one up close next to the building. Yes, I am as amazing as you think I am. More so, actually. But it is again. I find it incredibly. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you. Yes. I'm good. I know. All right, everybody settle down. Settle down. Thank you again. But so any of these things that might have happened would have happened under the Barack Obama administration. This would have been the sort of the last set of failures. This would have been sort of the last set of failures. Anything they say about you, they're really just talking about themselves. Anything they say to you, they're really just talking about themselves. It's who they are. It's what they are. So that's not so it's not so terribly surprising. It's not so terribly surprising that the left is coming up with this whole narrative of Russian hacking. I'm looking forward to the next set of things. Now, I want to prepare you. I'm going to close up here in a second, but I want to prepare you for something. I want to prepare you for the emollient clause that's coming. The fight about the emollient clause. Because of the Trump hotel, especially the Trump hotel that's right down the street from the White House. Now, I think, or right around the corner in the same neighborhood or whatever. See, I thought that was the biggest alpha male move in the history. Well, I'm getting spotty. I'm sorry. Don't know. I've got 4 bars of 5, so I'm doing the best I can. The deal is that I thought that building a hotel around the corner from the White House was the biggest alpha male move ever. That was the biggest alpha male move that I've ever seen. Even if he didn't win, down the street, there's a big sign that says Trump. Holy crap. If that's not the biggest FU move I've ever seen. Now, and the problem now is that he is going to benefit, or his company is going to benefit, from a lot of people, foreign dignitaries who book rooms and conferences and parties at the Trump Towers. That's right down the street from the White House. Now, the Constitution forbids that a sitting president benefit from that sort of thing. So they're going to have to come up with something, and probably come up with something fairly quick. I'm not a nervous Nelly thinking that this is going to be one of the first things they try to impeach him on. I'm not in that class of people, but I do understand that this is something that he probably should handle sooner than later. And if I were him, I'd handle it sooner or later. We've not had this sort of situation in a while, and I'm guessing that they will put the companies or whatever in a blind trust, and he won't have anything to do with them while he is president of the United States, and that will satisfy the constitutional question, and we'll move forward. But I'm telling you, the left is going to raise hell about this because the Russian hacking thing fell flat. So the left is going to raise hell about this emollient clause throughout the rest of the holiday season. And just, there you go. And I did. And I just lost connection there. Let's see. And it's, you know why? Because I'm getting out of the car. And you know what's even worse? I'm getting out of the car and I'm still talking. And people are going to be looking at me like I've lost my mind, but that's okay. Because maybe I have. There you go. The cell signal is better here. So the left's going to be talking about this a bunch, a huge amount, because it will indeed be their very last gasp to try to stop Trump in some real way. And if they can't stop him, to put a black mark on his presidency even before it gets started. And if they can somehow hamstring him before he gets started, the hope is that he won't be able to accomplish a lot of the things that he has said he wants to accomplish. I'm even hearing from people on the right, Republicans, I didn't say conservative people, but Republicans, who are demanding that people in Congress start getting with Trump and demanding that he do this or that. Anything to hamstring what he has campaigned on, anything to stop him before he gets started. Now, it always seems to me as an adult that any time that somebody makes that big a fuss about somebody, they may be doing the right thing. Look back at your history, boys and girls. They killed Jesus, who was just running around helping people and making them healthy and healing them, bringing them back from the dead. And they killed him. So I'm not worried about people who are protesting and upset and throwing a fit before Trump even does anything. I'm not so much worried about that. And I think they're smart enough to figure out the constitutional issues with the emollients clause. I think they'll be able to figure out all the issues that they need to figure out before the 20th of January, before he takes office. A bunch of smart people. I personally like the picks for the cabinet. I always get a special giggle when the pick for the Secretary of Defense, one of his quotes are, "Be polite, be professional, and have a plan to kill everybody you meet." I don't know. I like that. That always makes me giggle. All right, listen. It is 8:30. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for playing. Listen, we got to get out of here. We got to get into this Dick's Sporting Goods and get this Yeti cup. Thanks so much. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. Thanks, Paul. We'll talk in the morning. Bye-bye now.